Hello everyone and welcome to Wolf Spirit Yoga YouTube channel. So my name is Shell and I'm just going to do in this video a short 10-minute guided breathing practice. So it's really aimed at people who are new to yoga and are wanting to start to learn, as funny as it sounds, how to breathe properly. So for those of you that come to my weekly classes, you'll know that we always start every class usually lying down because it's most comfortable, with a breathing practice, or what we call in yoga pranayama. So it is really the most important part of yoga is the breath. So we can be doing all sorts of creative, exciting things with the body, with the asanas and making shapes, but really if we're not breathing, or we're not breathing properly, then we're not really practicing yoga. So alternatively, you can be in quite a simple shape, simple pose, and be breathing really effectively, and you can say at that time that you really are practicing yoga in that moment. So I'm just going to guide basically how I would begin a yoga class, so that you have this then if you want to practice just the breathing in and of itself at home, or if you want to do your breathing and then come in to do a different yoga practice for yourself, either of your own creation or maybe something that I might post on here at a later date. So in terms of what you'll need, somewhere quiet where you're not going to be disturbed for 10 minutes would be ideal. So if, like me, you have a furry friend that likes to pop in and make their presence known, just maybe closing the door and making yourself a nice little cozy sanctuary for this. So anything to make it more comfortable. So I've got a pillow here that I'll show you how we're going to use that in a moment. Also, my favourite thing to use for breathing and relaxation is these lavender eye bags. So they're really nice to place across the eyes and even across the forehead as well if you feel a little bit headachy or the mind feels quite busy. So I'm going to show you some different ways that you can lie to do your breathing practice. I'll get you set up and then I'm going to hop back up into seated to guide the practice. So my personal favourite way is to use a yoga bolster or a pillow underneath the knee. So this is particularly helpful if you have an exaggerated curve in the lower spine and it feels uncomfortable for you to lie down without the support. You can also make this more supportive with blocks underneath the pillow as well. If you don't have blocks, if you're starting out in yoga practice and you don't really know what those are, then hardback books are also very good. Or you can roll up an extra yoga mat and place that under the knees as well. So from there, you just scoot yourself into the middle of the mat, and then you're going to lie yourself down onto your back. So just wriggling, so again, you want to make sure you take away that exaggerated curve in the spine, and then just allow your toes to fall out to the side. And we usually start with backs of the hands connected to the mat, palms facing up, and just wriggling the shoulders out a few times. Okay, so that's one option I would say for beginners. That's probably the kindest way that you can lie the body down. If this still feels uncomfortable in the lower back or the spine for any reason, you're going to get rid of the pillow and the blocks. And we're going to bring soles of the feet to the edges of the mat and then knock the knees together that way. So again, palms can still face up. So this creates a nice healthy space for the pelvis. And alternatively, if you want to start to begin stretching, you can bring soles of the feet together, knees out to the side in Baddha Konasana, and then you can grab your blocks again and stack them underneath the thighs to give yourself a bit of support. Okay, so there's a few different choices there, so find something that suits your body the best. Placing on your eye pillow or maybe a hand towel or something across the eyes to cut out the light if need be. And I just want you to give yourself a couple of moments to just wiggle the body, adjust the body till it feels really settled on your mat. And when you feel ready to, you're going to gently close the eyes and start to take some nice deep breaths in through the nose and some big sighs out the mouth. every exhale, I want you to feel yourself letting go a little bit more. So muscularly loosening the muscles of the face. So can you soften the forehead, letting go of any frowns that we've been keeping there? Can you relax through the jaw, relax the tongue, even the front of the throat? Can you soften those shoulders down to the mat? And also relax and release through the lower back, through the hips and the glutes. So you want to get the sense of just surrendering the body to the earth. So let the floor come up and support you. There shouldn't be any need to hold the body in place. And I just want you to start to create some space in the mind. So just leaving behind anything at the moment that is taking up that space. So maybe some particular worries or concerns. Might be events that have taken place over the last few days. It might be that you're worrying about events of the future. So what you want to do is just hit pause on those things. And almost give yourself a permission here to have a mental break. Just feeling the mind beginning to let go, and to begin to expand. So you start to feel that space being created. And from here, I just want you to start to really become present to your breathing. So paying attention to the journey of the breath as you breathe in and out. So noticing the gentle rise and fall of the body. Noticing the quality of the breath and how it moves. Becoming aware of any restrictions to the breath. So it's quite possible, particularly if you're new to yoga, new to breathing practices, that you can feel that you're just breathing into the top of the chest. Maybe the breaths are quite short and quite shallow. So what we aim to do in yoga is move our breath deeper and deeper into the body. So acknowledging that our breath is our prana, our life force energy. And we want that to be journeying through the entire body, giving us that sense of well-being and vitality. So what I'd like you to start to do now is breathe really deeply down into the belly and allow the belly to actually expand on those inhales. So if you spend a lot of time pulling your tummy in, or you know that you carry stress a lot in the gut, you might find this uncomfortable to start off with. So inhale, soften, let it expand. And as you exhale, just let the breath be released from the body. You might feel the belly button drawing slightly back in towards the spine. And you want to start to notice the relationship. So if we breathe down to the belly, what starts to happen is the breathing diaphragm can begin to descend. And then the lungs can actually fill up to their full capacity. So lungs are huge. And quite often we're just breathing short and shallow into the very top of the lungs. So just see if you can experience that, breathing down to the belly, allow it to soften, expand, and then feel the breath then travelling up through the lungs. And then finally we feel the breath in the top of the chest. And as we exhale, again you can slightly draw the belly in and squeeze all the breath out. So we might find in the beginning, as we're sending breath to parts of the lungs, parts of the body where it's not normally going, there's going to be a bit of a detox effect. So what we don't want to do is do really long breaths in and then short, shallow breaths out, because we want all of that stale energy that's been lurking to come out. So try and make your exhalations just as long as your inhalations. So again, we're breathing down into the belly, feel the belly expand. Rib cage widens, chest broadens. Exhale, squeezing the belly gently, trying to assist all the breath out of the body. So notice if you're trying too hard, those telltale signs will begin to show. Shoulders will begin to tighten, jaw begins to clench, forehead begins to frown. So we try and make this feel as natural as possible. So once you've got that going, that depth of the breath, that length of the breath, we start to cultivate what's called Ujjayi pranayama, so ocean breath. So this is quite tricky in the beginning, so don't worry if it feels really uncomfortable. So as we breathe in and out, we want to start to breathe through the throat. So we slightly constrict the back of the throat as we breathe in and out, and we start to make this sound, this rasping sound. It begins to sound like the waves of the ocean. So again, we inhale belly, rib cage, chest, but we're making that contraction in the throat. We exhale. And then what you want to do is listen to the sound of your breath. The rise and the fall. And also bring to mind, if you find it helpful, the image of a beach. Watching those waves rolling up the shore and then receding back into the ocean. So as you breathe in, can you imagine breathing in the waves drawing up the shore? As you exhale, the waves receding back into the ocean. So you're listening to that sound, feeling the expansion, the contraction, and then picturing that ocean scene. And then from here, you can either stay here, lying down and just really focusing on this breath. You can do this for as long as you want to. Or you can begin to move into a yoga practice. So some stretches, keeping that breath through every posture, the inhale, expansion, the exhale, contraction. Or you can simply just take that as 10 minutes of relaxation and go about your business. So I hope you've enjoyed that and found that useful. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch, leave comments underneath the video. I'm hoping to be posting lots of little mini tutorials and also larger classes as well. So I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you very much. Namaste.